And happy halving. It is 420. We had the halving late last night. We did a live stream, was pretty lit, ushering in the news cycle. Let me know if you were able to join us. In today's show, we'll be discussing everything relating to this Bitcoin halving, with it being the most bullish setup for the Bitcoin price action. We'll also be discussing why this halving is so important for the Bitcoin scarcity, as well as where the Bitcoin price will likely be by the time of the next halving in March of 2028. Also in today's show, things could get really bonkers. Bitcoin primed to explode by up to 282% if this happens, according to Invest Answers. Also, Quant Analyst PlanB predicts Bitcoin to skyrocket by over 4x. I'll be breaking down his latest timeline, as well as hold long-term legendary investor Tim Draper and Skyrocket both make some pretty epic price prediction, but Skyrocket predicting an 8 million Bitcoin price soon, and also Draper predicting Bitcoin smashing and skyrocketing to $10 million per coin. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. But anyways, fam, if you're new to the channel, very important to smash the subscribe button to receive more content like this each and every day. Also important to pump the thumbs up because it helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm and it helps support the channel getting more eyeballs to the stream. It's always greatly appreciated. Today is pod episode number 1615. I'm your host, JV, and it's Stacking Saturday, April 20th. So happy 420. Let's freaking go. Let's kick it off as we do each and every day with our market watch. You can see all the major cryptos pumping back in the green. Bitcoin recaptured 65 G's, baby.
60 G's, baby.
Ha ha. Ether back up 2%, trading above 3,100. And in the forest screen, we got Cardano, AVAX, and Polkadot, even Litecoin pumping. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, we're sitting at a 2.37 trillion market cap. My question for you in the chat, how high do you think the overall crypto market cap will climb for this cycle? Do you think we hit 10 trillion, 5 trillion, 15 trillion? I'd love to know your thoughts. The current all-time high is roughly 3 trillion, so we're getting close. And we had roughly 64 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with volume being down 42% on the day. And the Bitcoin dominance is at 53.9%, with the Ether dominance dropping even lower to 15.7%. How high do you think the Bitcoin Dom will likely climb for the cycle? Holla in that chat. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours. Bonk going bonkers, up 25% on the daily, still trading at virtually zero. Floki up 19%, trading at virtually zero. And Fetch up 16%, trading at $2.48. Below that, we have Ajax, AR, Beam, Pepe, GRT, and Sheep. The alts, I mean, the meme coins in the alts are wrecking the game right now, leading the pack. But anyways, checking out the crypto bubbles to get more of a visual perspective. We have virtually 98% of the top 100 coins pumping in the green. Very impressive gainers. And zooming out on the monthly to get a wider perspective, the majority of the alts are wreck city, bleeding, and in the red. Even Stacks down 20%, and I'm very bullish on that one in particular. Core is up 260%, Pendle up 116%, and Meme Coin Whiff up over 26%, Ton up 50%. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 66 in greed. Yesterday 66, last week a 72, and last month a 78. Extreme greed. So there you have it, my crypto fam. But anyways, fam, let's dive into our next story of the day. Headline reads, the 2024 Bitcoin halving is the most bullish setup for the Bitcoin price. Let's go Bulls. Bring it. The fourth ever halving, which occurred on April 19th for those in Eastern time, but for some parts of the world, it was the 20th, including Asia, Europe, maybe even Australia, so just note. So anyways, this could give the rise to the most bullish Bitcoin cycle based on historical chart patterns combined with the presence of spot Bitcoin ETFs for the first time in crypto history. Bitcoin's price reached a new all-time high of 73.6 March 13th before the halving. Historically, the price rallied to new highs in 518 to 546 days after the previous halving, so unprecedented time. The pre-halving all-time high, combined with the institutional inflows from the 10 U.S. spot ETFs, created the most bullish setup for Bitcoin, according to this analyst and founder and CEO of Earth Wallet. Quoting him here, the combination of nearly all Bitcoin having been mined, early investor via ETFs, increasing demand for inflation hedges, and increased utility, all fundamental aspects of Bitcoin's value proposition are stronger than ever before. And check this out. You can see from the 2016 halving in the circle, going parabolic and then, reaching insane highs of I think over 8,000% gains. And then we had the halving of 2020, then we go parabolic again, and now we're witnessing the halving in 2024. So yeah, Bitcoin price fell 5% on the weekly chart to trade above 63.6. That was at 9:58 a.m. in UTC. And Bitcoin only rose 2.5% or almost 3% during the past month, but has already rallied over 50% since the beginning of this year. So let that sink in. I remember we kicked off the year, we were in the 30,000 range, and right now we're back above 65 G's, baby. So while the Bitcoin price action is expected to be bullish in the long term, halvings are historically preceded by short-term corrections. Hence why I always be saying, be prepared for extreme volatility, right? Bitcoin price could see the end of the current drawdown if the price manages to rise above the 65 resistance, which we're currently above, quoting the CEO of Wanchain. Historically, Bitcoin halvings were followed by a slump. Expect to see continued consolidation, so as long as support around 58,000 holds. If Bitcoin breaks recent highs, look for a rapid increase to 80 to 90,000 or even 100,000 as investors favor the round numbers. That's right. Now, the past month's lag in price action is mainly attributed to the slowing Bitcoin accumulation from the ETFs as net inflows turned negative on the week of the halving. The U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF saw almost 400 million worth of negative net outflows during the halving week, down from over 200 million worth of net positive inflows during the previous week. So despite the temporary slump, the 10 Bitcoin ETFs cumulatively amassed over 835,000 worth $53.5 billion. That's crazy, considering it's been roughly 3 months to have the 10 institutions accumulate that much Bitcoin. Now, BlackRock alone currently now has 272,000 Bitcoin, which is more than 1% of the circulating supply. And clearly, they're not going to slow down anytime soon. So the narrative around the Bitcoin price action remains positive, despite the temporary slump in these ETF inflows, which signals new investors preparing to gain Bitcoin exposure, according to Jonas, co-founder and CTO of Syntropy. Quoting him here, early adopters from large capital institutions have entered the market, and it is taking time for the next wave of institutions to prepare their inflows. While the big banks predict some downward movement in Bitcoin post-halving, I see strength in Bitcoin due to the potential new money inflows and its positioning as a hedge against inflation. And also we have Bitcoin ETF and Ether ETF spot, which just got the approval out of Hong Kong, which is officially going to go live at the end of this month. So that's even more institutional adoption. Also, El Salvador will be launching their ETFs, and their ETFs are going to be different as well, where you can put Bitcoin in and get Bitcoin out. Whereas in the US, it's all cash in, cash out. And with Hong Kong, it's going to be Bitcoin in as well as that option. So that's pretty cool. It'll give us some different versatility in the market as the game theory continues in full effect. Anyways, fam, keep the comments flowing and greatly appreciated. But let's dive into the next story of the day and dive a little deeper into the Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin halving, why is this so important for the Bitcoin scarcity? Let's break it down. The fourth ever Bitcoin halving occurred last night at block 840,000, which we documented live on the stream. The halving is considered the most important economic mechanism influencing the Bitcoin supply and creating scarcity for the asset. The Bitcoin network's fourth halving event reduced block issuance rewards from 6.25 BTC to 3.125 BTC per mined block, effectively slashing Bitcoin's issuance rate in half. The halving is a crucial mechanism for Bitcoin scarcity and market valuation. Quoting the CEO of platform Dopamine, Scarcity is a fundamental economic principle that affects the value of an asset by programmatically ensuring that the supply of Bitcoin increases at a slower rate over time. The halving events underscore Bitcoin scarcity. That's right. The halving is hard-coded into the Bitcoin code base, which happens approximately, or it does happen every 210,000 blocks, which is approximately every 4 years. The Bitcoin network witnessed its first halving back in 2012, when the Bitcoin issuance rate was reduced from 50 biddies to 25 Bitcoin per mined block. The last two halvings occurred 2016 and 2020, significantly slashing Bitcoin's issuance rate to the current 3.125 BTC. This hard-coded scarcity makes Bitcoin stand out from traditional store value assets, according to Scheib, quoting him here. This program scarcity is a key feature that differentiates Bitcoin from traditional assets like gold, which can become less scarce as the new means of extraction and production are developed. Bitcoin, by contrast, has capped supply of 21 million coins, making it fundamentally inflation-proof. That's right. Bitcoin's economic design and halving mechanism are effective mathematical methods to make Bitcoin a deflationary asset, which makes it the first reliable alternative to gold. According to Jonas, co-founder and CTO of Syntropy, quoting him here, gold has served for thousands of years as the primary store of wealth because it is difficult to increase its supply, and it is global. Nothing else came close to having a predictability, growing supply until Bitcoin. Bitcoin price rose 122% during the past year. Boom. While gold price rose 19%. So during 2024, Bitcoin is up over 51% year to date, while gold is up a modest 15%. So Bitcoin more than 3x the price appreciation of gold thus far this year. Precious metals and real estate were considered the best store of value assets throughout the years, but the digital age is seeking more liquid assets for faster movements, which will ultimately benefit Bitcoin. That's right. Over time, Bitcoin has not only survived, but it is backing power of extensive computation and decentralization has also grown so strong that more people and institutions recognize this security and the benefits such as immediate transactability, geopolitical decentralization, and ease of carry weight or outweigh those of the other asset classes. And I would agree with that sentiment 100%. So let me know your thoughts. Personally, I think you can't even compare Bitcoin to gold. Yes, they're both considered store of values. However, one has true scarcity and the other has relative scarcity. Bitcoin has a 21 million finite limited supply, can never create more. It's hard-coded. Gold, they'll continue to find more in the earth. All they have to do is dig for more, invest into more, digging, mining, yada, 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 and dump it onto the market to ultimately control the price action and manipulate it the way they do best. In fact, JP Morgan Chase has paid fines of upwards of $900 million for spoofing precious metal markets. And of course, gold has been confiscated numerous times. I remember the 1933 Gold Confiscation Act as if it was yesterday. Okay, I'm exaggerating. I'm not that old. But nonetheless, it has happened, meaning it will happen again, in my opinion. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Now let's discuss the halving in 2028. And what would the price likely be at this time? My personal prediction, before I even get into the story, I think by the year 2028, by the halving, which they say is going to happen sometime probably in March, I can see 750,000 Bitcoin, and I can see a $1 million Bitcoin by 2029. That's my personal prediction. Let me know your thoughts. And of course, there's no guarantees. This is not investment advice. This is just my opinion for entertainment purposes only. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's discuss it. We have SwiftX lead analyst Pav Hundal. He looked at the price action that occurred following the previous halvings, predicting a price increase of at least 100% by the 2028 halving, which will put Bitcoin somewhere around the 120 mark. Now, I laugh at this prediction because it's too conservative. 120,000, in my opinion, is inevitable for this cycle, and I think most likely even we hit 100 plus in 2024. So I think by 2028, we're going to be somewhere, 700,000 plus, but that's just me. Let me know your thoughts. So quoting him here, we have gone from trough to peak price gains of more than 60,000% in 2013, 12,000% in 2017, and 2,000% in 2021. Our central scenario is for this trend to continue and to see a high double or low triple digit percentage point increase in price by the next halving. He added investors would be hard-pressed to imagine a scenario where Bitcoin would not be worth more than its current price of $60,000 by the next halving. Yeah, it'd be crazy. Offering a slightly more bullish sentiment, we had Henrik Anderson, Chief Investment Officer of the Australian crypto investment firm Apollo Crypto, who shared he predicts a peak price of around $200,000 per coin before 2028. Now, I would dare say 200,000 by 2025. Let me know your thoughts. Anderson said that the price action of Bitcoin would be buoyed by the wider acceptance of Bitcoin from the institutional standpoint, brought by the 11 recently approved spot Bitcoin ETFs here in the United States. Additionally, he said his fund predicts there will be roughly $65 billion worth of net inflows into the ETFs during the current cycle. And then Caroline Bowler, the CEO of Bitcoin Markets, shared she was looking at external predictions from investment banks such as Standard Chartered, who the primary shareholder is none other than BlackRock, which said the price of Bitcoin would reach as high as $200,000 by the end of 2025. Quoting her here, in the short window of time we have seen with the ETF involvement, there has been ongoing support for that thesis. I think that's a given. Now, Kraken Australia Managing Director Jonathan Miller shared that while the conversation around the time of the halving naturally translates into price predictions, he sees the event as a reminder of the progress being made towards global adoption. Quoting him here, my hope is that by the next Bitcoin halving, crypto adoption will have accelerated so far that even the most stubborn technology laggards will be learning about the halving process for the first time. Now, the halving could see the miners struggle. We know the fees right now on the Bitcoin blockchain have just went up crazily. There was even a story of someone making a 70-cent transaction and paying a $500,000 fee on the Bitcoin network. I don't know if you guys saw that. I saw it going viral on X a little earlier, but yeah, let's discuss this. We have Cantor Fitzgerald, who released a report outlining the price of Bitcoin would need to stay firmly above 40,000 if the majority of the publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies want to stay in business for the long haul. Shout out there to Cantor. Now, at the current prices, as outlined here in the chart, it isn't an issue for most miners. However, if Bitcoin were to hypothetically fall below 40,000, which I don't think is probable personally, it can create concerns around the revenue. Anderson looked at the increase of alternative revenue sources for mining firms outside of pure Bitcoin-denominated mining rewards. He noted the increase in revenue for miners brought about by the popularity of the ordinals and other fee-generating apps, such as the upcoming launch of the Runes protocol and Layer 2 networks like Stacks. Similarly, Bowler seemed unfazed by the idea that mining could become too expensive, saying the current concerns around mining and energy efficiency should be considered hyperbole. But anyways, fam, let's keep it moving. I got some very bullish predictions for y'all. We're going to discuss the 250,000 target, followed by a 300,000 target, followed by an 8 million target as a bonus, plus a 10 million target. You already know JB loves these predictions. Anyways, quoting the headline here, things can get really bonkers. Bitcoin primed to explode by up to 282% if this happens, according to Invest Answers. Shout out to Invest Answers. So yeah, in a recent interview, he said Bitcoin can skyrocket 282% from the current level, driven by increased demand a few months after the approval of the spot ETFs. According to the host, he says institutional investors have put in ETFs only small allocation game, but that is about to change. Quoting him here, well, the money hasn't arrived yet, so the institutions are coming. They watched for 90 days. This has been kind of an ETF small allocation game so far. And when the big money starts allocating, even if it's just 1% of their assets under management, the price theoretically can very easily go north to $200,000 or $250,000. And according to Invest Answers, Bitcoin's on the cusp of witnessing a drastic reduction in the supply. Well, we just witnessed it, right? My conservative price target, he says, I have upped it for this bull run from 150,000 to about 170,000 if this ETF consumption continuing. Now, when we hit a supply crunch, things could really go bonkers. And that means if nobody is selling. And there will always be people who bought Bitcoin at, say, $1,000, $3,000, and $10,000. They'll be selling a piece to pocket some cash. That is not going to satisfy the appetite from these big institutions, which are coming in. The Synonymous host says his conservative price target could be achieved earlier than the 18 months it typically takes for Bitcoin to reach new all-time highs post-halving. Quoting him again, I have noticed things are happening a lot earlier, a lot faster, which means that 18 months could be brought forward a little bit to maybe early summer 2025. What are your thoughts on that? And to watch the video he did, check the show notes below this video in the description, and let's discuss this 250,000 price target. Let's discuss the 300,000 target. Headline reads, Quant Analyst PlanB predicts Bitcoin to skyrocket by over 4x. Here's the timeline. That's right. PlanB is predicting the top of the cycle for Bitcoin will be more than 4x the current value. Send it. He shared with his almost 2 million followers the Bitcoin could put up massive gains after the April 19th halving event, which just took place last night. He believes the halving event, where miners' rewards get cut in half, will once again be a bullish factor for the king, and predicts Bitcoin will reach a cycle top of 300,000 per Bitcoin by 2025, quoting him here. In my opinion, this Bitcoin halving will not be different. All Bitcoin price increases will again, be around the halving. Buying 6 months before the halving and selling 18 months after the halving will outperform buy and hold. Bitcoin greater than 100,000 in 2024 and Bitcoin top greater than 300,000 in 2025. Let me know if you agree or disagree. He also says Bitcoin's historic price increases have occurred around the halving events with 2x gains in the 6 months leading up to the event, 2x gains in the 6 months following the event, and 4x gains between 6 and 18 months after the event. Quoting him here, happy Bitcoin halving. In the 6 months before the halving, insiders front run it, price 2x. In the 6 months after the halving, miner revenue adjusts, price 2x. 6 to 18 months after the halving, the rest of the market rushes to get a piece of the pie, price 4x. The analyst also says that he does not expect an immediate breakout from Bitcoin just days after the event, quoting him here, nothing will happen in 2 days. We already had a nice little price increase from 34,000 to 62,000, almost 2x. So in my opinion, we will have another 2x in the 6 to 10 months after the halving, then another 2 to 4x, face melting fear of missing out top. So there you go. Let me know if you can see a $300,000 Bitcoin price action this cycle, potentially this or next year. Let me know, holla at your boy. But here's what we're going to do. I have a bonus story. So I'm going to cover an 8 million price prediction from the Mooch, Scarmucci, and then a 10 million price prediction from billionaire legendary investor Tim Draper. So let's break this down. I'll first start with the more humble 8 million price prediction from the legendary investor. So here we go. Renowned investor Anthony Scaramucci recently shared his thoughts on Bitcoin's future, calling it the best performing asset in the world, in which we know it is. Scaramucci pointed out the huge demand for the biddies, especially from investors buying into ETFs like BlackRock and Cathie Wood's funds. Even Max Kaiser has been buying into Cathie Wood's funds. Even though only 450 new coins are made each day, the demand keeps pushing the prices up. Quoting the Mooch here, crypto and Bitcoin are still new to the most people. I try to answer some of the biggest questions like use cases in the upcoming halving event. That's right. After the Bitcoin halving events, prices usually drop but then bounce. But this particular halving, we've been pumping post-halving. That's right. We tapped 65,000 today, family. So things do seem to be different. Scaramucci repeats his strategy of holding Bitcoin long-term, regardless of short-term price fluctuations. He pointed to Bitcoin's strong performance over the past 14 years as evidence to its enduring value. And according to the Mooch, Bitcoin has proven to be the best performing asset worldwide, making it a valuable addition to any investment portfolio. Preach! Scaramucci encourages people to invest into the biddies. Even though its price can be unpredictable, he suggests starting with a small investment to learn about Bitcoin and enjoying being a part of the crypto world. Now, Scaramucci predicts Bitcoin price could reach $6 to $8 million per coin in the future. Send it. But for now, it's not a great way to protect against inflation or a fully trusted store of value because not enough people use it globally. He thinks that'll change once Bitcoin has 1 billion users, which can happen around 2026. Now, I personally think 1 billion users is inevitable, but I also disagree with what he says here. I think right now Bitcoin is a great store of value, and I think it's a great way to protect yourself against inflation. So that's what I disagree versus the Mooch. But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts on his 8 million price prediction for the future. Now let's dive into billionaire venture capitalist Tim Draper says Bitcoin might reach $10 million per coin. Let's break it down. What a handsome fellow. I've never met anyone with eyebrows quite like his, except for Pai Mei. You may remember Pai Mei from Kill Bill, the dude with the Gordon Liu plays the character with the big white beard and the eyebrows, but I digress there, family. So in a recent interview, Tim Draper predicted the price of Bitcoin could potentially surge to 10 million per coin. Send it. Quoting him here. Now 250,000 or a million or 2 million or even $10 million are the numbers that are probably going to happen for a couple of reasons. When you can buy your food, clothing, shelter, and pay your taxes all in Bitcoin, that's a done deal. You won't have to use any other currency. So he's ultimately saying all of these targets, including 10 million per Bitcoin, is already a done deal. Let me know if you agree or disagree. The billionaire, who is known for his early bets on companies like Skype, predicts the devaluation of the U.S. against Bitcoin. I guess they mean the U.S. dollar, clearly. Speaking of the upcoming halving event, which is going to take place, which has already taken place last night. You already know, block rewards just got chopped in half. And as reported, Draper also repeatedly forecast the Bitcoin reaching 250,000 in 2022. However, this prediction turned out to be inaccurate. Quoting him here, "I think my hubris got the better of me," Draper said. The billionaire explains that his prediction did not materialize since regulators got heavy-handed. So we all blame Gary. Draper also expected Bitcoin payments to become prevalent in 2022, which was not the case. Those are the two things that slowed down the progress, according to Draper. Now, Draper is also bullish and predicting Bitcoin will hit 250,000 this year. Let me know your thoughts on that. JB was feeling that champagne last night. Yes, Kevin, could you tell? Harmonic patterns based on the Fibonacci tend to be prevalent across nature, markets like itself. Once Bitcoin cracks and hodls above 74,000, my Pi May prediction is 1.1 billion 6 years out. Now we're talking 1.1 billion. Send it. Those eyebrows are glorious. I wish I can do that. I got to tell my barber. I just got to grow them out and do it and do the Pi May, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? It's so lit. I need those brows. I also think of the dude, I don't know the actor's name, but remember American Pie, the father, and he has like the thickest eyebrows and they look like caterpillars. What's that guy's name? I think it was because more adoption of the asset, along with the institutional FOMO that happened since the e-tests weren't selling prior to the halving. Word up. It's like two squirrels that look more like Spock. Word. 125 to 150,000 in 2024 and 200 to 225,000 in 2025. I dig it. Grant, what do you guys think on that? Where do you feel the price action is likely to be for the cycle peak? Let me know. Bro, don't you sleep? Never. Shout out Squirrel Bait. He just gifted 5 MicroStrategy memberships to the channel. So you just got hooked up stress-free. Shane Sullivan, Bitcoin Trini, Michael Amos, The Lost and the Unfounds. You've all been hooked up with the MicroStrategy membership of the channel on behalf of the Squirrel Bait. So show Squirrel some love for hooking you guys up. American Pie, some great movies, 100%. Yeah, I remember the Stiffmeister. Stifler. 220,000 in 2024, definitely possible though. Somewhat of a stretch, in my opinion. Word. Thanks for sharing, Kat. Yo, what it do? Thank you, Squirrel Bait. You're the man. Happy halving, everybody. Canadian Eugene Levy, that's the guy. That's the guy. Eugene Levy is the guy with the brows. You got that. Thank you, Darth Melda. Happy halving. Good to see you, family. How you been? Let me know. Thanks so much, says The Lost and Unfolds. Cheers, family. 225,000 end of the year. 500 to 750,000 cycle peak. Let's go. Love it, Jennifer. Respect. 250,000 end of the year. Amen, Hoss.